Gen Z is once again faking disorders. That's new. So the story goes that this TikToker has just posted a video to the internet complaining about not receiving accommodations for time blindness. Now, I don't know if I'm a boomer or something, but I had no idea what that is, so I Googled it, and it is a real thing, except it's not at all what this person is describing at all. Take a look.
So I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question. So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time, you know? And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else, and then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist, and if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job. You know, provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace. And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can look to, I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled. And then I asked that person, how can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system? And then to think I'm entitled. No, if people think it's okay to treat others like this, that's entitlement.
I mean, it is true that if you struggle with being on time, you're not going to be able to keep a job because one of the central principles of keeping a job is being on time, you know? And contrary to a lot of people's belief, it's not really just for your greedy corporate employer, it's also for your coworkers or anybody who you're working with. For example, if you're working in a team and you're late, you're obviously going to be inconveniencing your team members. Or if your work is like dependent on other people's work or other people's work is dependent on you, if you come late, obviously you're gonna set off a chain of events that they can't start their work unless you're complete, you know? Now, don't get me wrong, nobody's asking for 100% perfect attendance time all the time. Like, it's okay to be late every now and then. You can be late like 5 minutes, maybe you took an extra long poop, okay? It's perfectly natural for that to happen. But then when it becomes like a regular thing and you're like late all the time, everybody just hates you. So let's just talk about this time blindness thing, okay? Here's the definition. Time blindness refers to the inability to recognize when time has passed or to estimate how long something will take. Dr. Mano says that time blindness isn't a diagnosis or a specific symptom, it's more just a general way of talking about the phenomenon of losing track of time, and it can be more extreme for some people. Everybody has time blindness at some times. We can all get caught up in something and get in the zone. Some people with ADHD, though, are more prone to having difficulty being able to judge how long something will take to do or to lose track of time. So time blindness is literally just losing track of time, which is absolutely not a reason to be late all the time. You know what regular non-whiny people do when they lose track of time? They start planning. You set alarm clocks, you meal prep, you plan out your day so that you go to sleep at an appropriate time and like a regular time so that you wake up the next morning refreshed. These are all things that adults need to do in the real world, you know, just highlighting some of those words just in case, you know, they don't comprehend your minuscule skull. And honestly, I'm tired of blaming our generation, okay? It's not the generation, it's you, okay? It's flipping you, okay? Not our generation is not like this. Don't loop me in with this absolute reject. Why do I have to be lumped in with your lazy ass when I bust my ass to be where I am? I'm literally sick right now, bro. My throat actually hurts, but I'm still recording. I haven't taken a legitimate day off in 6 goddamn years, and here you are complaining about time blindness. There's just a difference in mindset between you pansies and some actual hard workers. For me, unless somebody physically tapes my mouth closed, rips out my vocal cords, disconnects my internet, and starves me for 69 days, I'm still showing up every single day. Now, her response is even more ridiculous. She somehow starts talking about the political radicalization of our world.
When people ask me, how does it feel being the time blindness girl and have everybody bashing you constantly on Twitter and Instagram, and all I could say is it's a testament of what the United States has become. And we hear about algorithms, political radicalization, and how the internet is influencing humans, and we think, oh, okay. But then when it happens to you, you see how big of a problem it is. Because when we can no longer have a civil discussion about a video with very little context, it makes you wonder, is there even a future for our nation, and what future is there to fight for? Because arousing mass amounts of hate, judging people, making mass assumptions, and being stuck in a cognitive loop without even knowing it, and then doing exactly what the algorithms want is seen as normal. But you know what? It doesn't have to be.
What is this Looney Tunes mother flipper on about? Political radicalization. Are you on goddamn shrooms? What the hell are you even? How is this related? It's so ridiculous how people like her have this mindset that everything should be accommodated to me rather than me actually changing to accommodate the world. It's the same thing with those like fat models asking for extra airline seats. It's just like the world is not going to accommodate to you. It's your job to fit into the world. Now, the funniest thing about this is that there's people with actual disabilities who are still always on time rather than making up some bullshit like you. Heather says you have time blindness. I have actual blindness and I'm always on time. No, this would mess up the brake rotations, affect positions where lives depend on the worker. If this is normalized, it'll become normal to be late. As someone with ADHD, what does time blindness even look like? I've always just made extra efforts to be up and at work early so that I'm not late. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Everybody is going to be disadvantaged in some way, okay? It's your job to overcome that and actually be a functioning member of society. I'm a very open-minded person, but this is wild. Listen, being open-minded is one thing, but so open-minded that your goddamn brain falls out, like, at that point we need to reconsider. I think it's just a matter of respect. Like, if you don't value other people's time, you're basically showing them that you don't respect them. Hi friend, I've been diagnosed with ADHD for 14 years. I don't understand really what accommodations or solutions you were hoping to receive. I'll tell you, basically she wanted the entire world to bend to her whim, so that if she randomly shows up 1 hour late one day, she wants everybody else to start 1 hour late as well. Like, there is no accommodations for time blindness, okay? Especially the way you put it, where, hey boss, I'm never gonna be on time. Like, obviously an employer is gonna get mad at that. And I find it really funny how this is only gonna be for work, right? For work, you could possibly be late. Are you ever gonna be late to a movie you're gonna watch with your friends? Are you ever gonna be late to watch The Bachelor at 6 p.m.? You ever gonna be late for dinner? I don't think so. You know, I'll accept time blindness if you agree to accept payroll blindness. Only seems fair. Someone clearly stepped foot in the real world for the first time that day and she realized she wasn't cut out for it. You know, as a previous manager and a business owner, I'm always lenient with timing every now and then. Life happens. But when it's a consistent issue, it doesn't just affect you, it affects the entire team. Have some consideration for your coworkers. What's the difference between someone with time blindness and someone who just doesn't put in the effort to be on time? That's the thing, there is literally no difference. It's called setting alarms. Nah, that's called being an adult. Imagine being responsible. Cringe. Now here's her final response.
Once upon a time, I thought that political polarization and social media algorithms radicalizing us wasn't as big of a deal. That was before I started trending online and became the target for mass amounts of hate on TikTok and Twitter. I've seen this hate and division firsthand in a way that I hadn't before. And you know what? Political polarization needs to be one of the top issues in the United States. Because when we are stuck in cognitive loops and biases that we don't even know we're in, we cannot work to change things like economic and environmental injustice. Because this is an issue that needs to be addressed first, because without addressing it, we will get nowhere.
Bruh, you sound like Jaden Smith. Like, can we talk about the political and economic state of the world right now, guys? No, Ashley, shut up and get to work like the rest of us, okay? Click this video or she becomes your next coworker. Now, excuse me while I die.